Hello friends, welcome to my channel Easy Study with Antara. Today we are going to learn more about some acts that happened in modern history, that took place in modern history, and these acts are very important for competitive exam purpose. Plenty of questions used to come from this part, and aspirants find it quite difficult to remember this act, especially the Charter Act. Like when and how this Charter Act happened, what does this Charter Act of 1853 means, what does Charter Act of 1813, all this means, when it happened, what are the content of this Charter Act. So I'm going to explain it in a very easy manner. As you can see the image over here, I have written in gist about each act. I have just pinpoint the main objectives of the act, not any useless stuffs, which will help you to remember it very easily. So let's move on to first our act of 1786. In our previous videos, I have explained the regulating act, the act of settlement or the declaratory act. All this I have explained. Then Pitt India's Act, you can see my previous videos for those topics to get through. Now is Act of 1786. You see, I have written in just 2 lines about this act. So what does this act is all about, or what are the important questions can be asked or asked from this topic? That is, when this act was established, it was Lord Cornwallis who became the Governor General of Bengal. So when this act came into force, who is the Governor General of Bengal? Lord Cornwallis. And he got the power to work in both posts. Like one is Governor General of Bengal, that post, and he is the first Commander in Chief. That another position is given to him. So if it is said, like, who is the first Commander in Chief in Bengal, it will be Lord Cornwallis, and he is the first effective ruler of British India under BOC and COD. Now what is this? I have written in a very short form. Even you aspirants can also do that, write in short forms. What does it mean? You see here with the asterisk marks I have written, BOC means Board of Control. During that time there was Board of Control and Court of Directors. Now what are they? That one I have already explained in my previous videos. If you want to know about them, you just see the Regulating Act, Pitt India's Act. You will get to know what is Board of Control and Court of Directors and their role in India in all these acts. Okay. So in Act of 1786, there is nothing much. Lord Cornwallis was the Governor General of Bengal. He was the Commander-in-Chief and the first effective ruler of British India under Board of Control and Court of Directors. Now next it started the Charter Act, which are very important, especially the dates as well. Now Charter Act of 1793. What does this act mean? Now according to this act, the Charter of Company renewed for 20 years to rule in India. Now, this Charter Act is actually a written government laws and regulations. Before, when this East India Company started to rule over India, they came for business purpose, and little by little they just took control control over India and rulers, and they directly took into their power. But there was no hard and fast rules that the British East India Company has to follow certain rules in order to run a country. No, whatever they want, they were doing it. But this Charter Act, it has provided written rules and regulations that no, if you are staying in India, you want to rule over the people, you must have certain rules and regulations, and you have to abide by the rules, you have to follow the rules. And what was that? And little by little, the British Parliament or the British Crown is taking control over the East India Company. These two are different, okay? The East India Company and the British Crown. British Crown is directly under the British Parliament. They are the British Crown, okay? They rule over Britain. And this East India Company is merely a company which came to India for doing business, and later on it's kind of establishing their uh, means kind of establishing their own kingdom over here. So this Charter Act is an act like issued by the British government, okay, from the British Crown, that the East India Company can uh, do business over India for the next 20 years. And for that, they need to follow certain government laws and regulations. And government laws means the laws has to be, means like these government laws are the laws that the British Parliament, British government has made, the Queen has made, okay, and that is applied to everybody, Indian people, their rights, persons, property, like whatever the human rights or whatever the way they live and how the property dealings and everything, that has to be under those laws. Ended personal rule of past rulers, whoever the past rulers were there, in whatever way they will rule the country, no, they have to follow this rules and regulations that are provided by the British Parliament. This is all about Charter Act of 1793. Next comes Charter Act of 1813, and if you see the number of the year, like here 1793, then 1813, it shows that after 20 years, you 93, after that you count 1813, after 20 years, they what they did, renewed company's charter for 20 years, that yes, the East India Company can again rule over, like do business over India for the next 20 years. But the company deprived of monopoly in India, but can continue monopoly in China for 20 years. Means that in India, they not only, it means they are the one who are doing the business alone. Monopoly means single-handedly they were doing the business. Okay, like India is a land, is a rich land where raw materials are easy to find. So they are taking raw materials from there, making the things out in their country and selling it to India. So this monopoly, only they are the one who were there given permission to do the business. But after this time, in this Charter Act of 1813, the government, the British government have made rules that no, even the other businessmen, other countries, they can come here and they can do the business. Or from Britain only, why only East India Company? Any other company can also come and they can do the business. But yes, East India Company can do the monopoly, means like they alone can do the business in China for 20 years. This was the important part from Charter Act of 1813. If you have to remember, just remember this much, it's fine.